Welcome.
We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
This is your number one podcast for ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties. Bringing you everything you need to know about things that go bump in the night and interviewing the personalities behind them. Make sure your doors and windows are locked. Now, here are your hosts, your ghost hosts, Scott and Julie.
Hey, my friends, welcome to another edition of the Paranormal Project. Hi, Julie. How are you tonight?
I'm good, Scott. How are you doing?
Doing great, thanks. Julie, tonight we have three wonderful women with us tonight. One is a witch, one is a gifted healer, and one is a medium. And together they are known as the Soulstice Sisters. And I'm really excited to have them on the show. They're a fun group, and I know you're gonna love having them here tonight. So, Chanel, can you bring the ladies out? Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Good.
How are you?
We're great, and you were like live from all over the country.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, that's great. Well, welcome to the show. This is exciting.
Thanks. We're glad to be here.
We're
Yes.
so glad to have you. What or who are the Soulstice Sisters, and how did this come about?
Wow, Christina, do you want to start that one? It
Oh,
kind of started with a friend of ours, Greta,
Mhm.
but I'll let Christina tell the story because she has better recall than me.
We actually connected in 2020. I lost my sight. Had lost complete vision in the right eye due to an intraocular stroke, and 2 weeks later was facing losing all the vision in the left eye. And doctors couldn't figure out what was happening in the left eye. And Greta, who is a common friend of ours, said, I'd like you to speak to a friend of mine. She's a medical intuitive. Maybe she can help. I said, at this point, yeah, whatever. And that's when I met Dana. And from Wisconsin to East Tennessee, she picked up that I had a second intraocular stroke in my left eye as well, sent me back to Nashville. And the doctors pushed back and said, and I'm going to quote, "I'll be damned. It's there." They couldn't seen it before. And that was the beginning of the relationship. We kind of connected through Greta and bonded. We got together for a what we call Witches and Bitches weekend in St. Augustine. And
I'm the witch.
what's
still
that
wondering.
Dana?
I don't know.
Clarify
I'm so good in your favor, ladies.
Anyway, sorry, Christina.
Oh no. So we got together, and the three of us, it was an instant bond. And we just clicked, and our energy flows well together, and found my soul sisters.
That's great. That's great. And do you do events together? And I mean, have you just started to do that, or what's been the history?
Well,
Dana?
we've only really been together for about 2 years total, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes, we do events. We've done, Kathy, the lovely Kathy, is at the Ohio Reformatory. That is her gig. You can explain your title better than me. She's the goddess of the place. Anyway, we do an event that she has there, which is coming up again, which is really, really awesome. So that we've done together. We've gone to Salem together. We've done all kinds of stuff around Salem together, a few of them events. So what happens is, I'll do readings. Kathy will do Reiki, and Christina will do her herb magic stuff, which is super cool. So we're all kind of in the same area. We work together. and in the different modalities that we use, or the different quote unquote gifts that we have, we focus on one individual. Kind of, we try to do a try healing type thing in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
we work together instead of in separate things a lot of the time as well. So
Nice.
which
What
is
I was
good
going
for
to
the
add to
client.
what Dana's saying is when we met back in St. Augustine, we had no plans of being together as the Soulstice Sisters. So this is actually pretty new to us. Like Dana said, 3 years, maybe 2 years in evolving. And what had happened was we had such a great sisterhood when we were in St. Augustine that Christina actually reached out and was like, hey, what do you guys think of us doing, some type of events or things like that with all of our abilities? So that's actually how that portion of it began. So we're kind of working towards that a little bit. And like Dana said, we have done some of it and it's worked out very, very well. I mean, we have unique gifts that each one of us has, and we just bring it all together and work together and love it and love each other.
That's really fantastic. So you are a medical intuitive, Dana?
Yes, I don't know. That's just kind of like what someone called it. It's not, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not going to say that I'm anywhere near that. But for some reason, I don't know how to explain it. I just can look at somebody and be like, they have this. I think it's that. It's very difficult to explain how it works. I think somebody put a fancy title on it to say medical intuitive. But as far as with my clients, like the first thing I tell them is I am going to probably do this for you. It just comes up all the time.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to hear it, I give them an option too. I don't have to tell you if I see something. That's up to you. Because some people don't want to know.
Right.
It's true.
Good or bad. That's just not what they want to talk about. And I don't blame them for that. So, but I always encourage them to see obviously their physician if I'm sensing something.
Sure.
But I do.
Dana, have you had
that's
any?
Probably what I've done. I think it's what a lot of people know me for, is that in this area anyway. What was the question?
I'm just wondering if you've had any Reiki training, because it sounds a lot like Reiki. Maybe you're just a natural Reiki master.
Kathy?
And I honestly don't say that in jest either. I know a friend who has had Reiki training, and they are able to do what you can do through training. So it sounds to me like it's just natural to you.
Again, I am not one of the, there's a lot of people that do what we do out there. I have never been to a fancy school in London, France, Paris. I've never studied under anybody famous. I've never gone and tried to do that. I was born doing this stuff, literally, and it was very terrifying. It was not a fun time as a kid a lot of the time. So I'm, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't want to brag myself out as this medical intuitive Wonder Woman. It's very much something I do very well. I don't know why I do it well.
Right.
It just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah.
So if I could do Reiki, I might. And it's not saying that that's super fancy, but I never would have pursued something like that because this is all I've done. I mean, I went professional when I was 15. I've been doing this a while because I'm only 20.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
That almost went through. Almost.
As I tell my 32-year-old daughter, I don't know how your birthday's coming up and you're going to be 33, because I myself am only 39.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Dana.
I don't want to blow my own horn or anything.
But like you say, it was terrifying when you were a child. You were obviously born with the gift, as I know a lot of psychics and natural healers are. I'm a psychic empath. I was born with it, and growing up with it, it is terrifying. You don't know what it is. It's very, very scary.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that went on. I was very thankful that I had the mom that I did, because my father was Irish Catholic. So what I remember most about my dad in my childhood years is this. Every time I started to talk. But alas, my mom's side of the family kind of has what's going on. That's where it comes from. And so every time, I remember like sitting at the table and there was always a man in the corner of the dining room. My dad would be like, ah. And my mom would say, oh, what is he wearing? She was not, don't be afraid of it kind of thing. I feel like
that it is passed down, usually from the women in the family, from mother to daughter.
Right.
That's definitely something.
As I discovered much, much, much later in life.
And I don't know where mine came from at all.
Well, let's talk about that.
Let's. I'm adopted. Is that what you're trying to tell me? I don't know. No.
Who was the
my
man?
brother? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where it came from, though. My grandmother had a godmother who had this gift, but they weren't related. There was no blood relation at all. And she's the only one that I know of that had this ability. But
I think my other two ladies would agree with me. I mean, I think when I do talks, because I also speak, I don't just run around reading people in grocery stores and stuff. And I'm like, sorry, Christina.
Can't take you anywhere. No.
I know. It's just, I forgot. I went right off my train track because I was messing with Christina. So whatever I was going to say.
Yeah.
I do talk. I do speaking stuff, but I don't know what I was going to say after that. I'm sorry.
I said something about, I don't know where it came from. And you said, well,
everybody's, I know what it was. Yeah. Everybody's psychic. Every single person on this planet has
to a certain degree. To a degree.
But I think it's like mediumship is not quite the same thing.
No.
So, and you know what I mean. So there is a vast difference. Now, that's not saying that mediums are better. Psychic mediums are better than like a psychic is. It's just different. And if people used their guts more and didn't panic necessarily and really looked at this message they're getting, what we're taught out of that. So I think if they did that more, I'd be out of a job partially.
I wonder sometimes, Dana, if people could sit, quiet their mind and listen, if they would get a lot of what we get or some of what we get. It feels like to me that's kind of all I do. And when it starts happening, you talk about it being scary, and it was scary, but it happens all the time, right? Once you learn to control it, that fear kind of goes away, and you know how to let it in and not let it in. And I wonder if people just quieted their mind a little bit.
But then they don't believe it. Scott and I have discussed this, and it's always doubt. And
I think that's like the number one thing, isn't it? And it's also, even for us, when we read people and we say something completely bizarre to them, they're like, well, I don't know anybody with that name, or I don't know this and that. That makes us kind of go, oh, I don't know about you guys, but you still want to be. And I always just tell them, just remember I said it, because if it comes up, I want you to know that means something to you. Right. But Kathy picks up things when she does Reiki, which I find very interesting that you were discussing me with what I do. And Reiki, Kathy actually is
a very gifted Reiki master.
I got to let my cat out. Sorry.
Thank you for that lead in. As far as the Reiki and everything, I am a Reiki master. So is Christina. Christina also does Reiki. And Dana, of course, she's the psychic medium. We all have our own gifts. And I think we're actually expanded on those gifts quite a bit. But we have our areas where it's our expertise, what we enjoy the most. And one of those things that I like to do, I mean, I know I'm a Reiki master, but I like to say that I'm a healer instead of I'm a Reiki master, because not only do I do Reiki, I was also trained in mountain magic, and I'm also going through shaman practitioner classes and everything. So I kind of want to expand on the healing area of that and bring in as many modalities as I can to be able to help the person that is on my table. Now, what's interesting is, yes, what Dana was saying, I can actually see things when I'm working on people. They just guide me. This spirit, my Reiki guide, and archangels guide me in places to work on different areas. And I can actually get visions of things that have maybe happened in somebody's life that was some type of traumatic experience, so that I could work on that area. If it's not something like that, I can also be told where an area on their body is suffering if it's physical. So there's the emotional, and then there's the physical, and then you have your chakras. There's so much involved with the healing and everything. But in talking about being able to see things when I work on people, as a little girl, I used to see things. Now, the majority of the time, they were through my dreams. I would get visions. I would know what was going to happen. And then there's all those times that, I mean, I'm talking to the choir here. All those times that you just know, it's something when it's like you just know, and you can't explain it other than that. So I grew up with all of that. I actually took a psychic class, but did not feel that that was for me. I didn't feel that was my calling.
Yeah.
I think I could have been very good at it. It just wasn't where I thought I was being called to. I think Dana could be a great Reiki master. I think she would be able to tune into those things, but that's not Dana's calling. So I stick with the healing because that's what I like to do. I mean, I truly enjoy it, and I love learning as much as I can so that I can help, just so I can help.
Where do you study shamanism? Is that something that you go to a physical location, or is it an online type thing, or how do you
Well,
study
it's online, but it's very interesting and how this came about. If you don't mind me telling the story.
No, no.
Sometimes when you get me going, I can't shut up.
Join the club.
Scott Allen.
PM off the hook.
Now, I have always been interested in shaman work, always, ever since I was little. So after I got involved with I took the Reiki, all of the Reiki that I could, and I took the mountain magic and everything. I thought, well, I'm just going to pursue the shaman classes. So I went to this metaphysical shop called, I guess I can promote them a little bit, Goddess Elite, that's close by my house, because I knew the owner and I trusted her to be able to recommend somebody that's credible. So I went in and I was talking to her and telling her what I was looking for and why I wanted to take it and everything. And I said, so do you know anybody that is a shaman that teaches? He walked in the door. Right after I asked that, he walked in the door and she goes, oh, wow. As a matter of fact, there he is. And she's, hey, come over here. So he and I got to talking, and he went to his mentor, and they put together a program that they had been working on, but I kind of nudged them, I guess, a little bit to work on it a little quicker. So, and they waited for me until I was through a few things before they got started in this class. It's a year-long class. We go online. We do a Zoom class for an hour, sometimes 2 hours a night, but we have study material. And we also have information that they put on a weekly basis, things that we have to do. So it's pretty intense. It's not sit in front of the camera, you're done in an hour. It's very intense. It's very interactive. And at the end of this, we are probably going to go on a retreat, which will be awesome.
Oh,
so, long answer to a question.
Yeah, great.
So.
And Christina, how did you get into all of your spell work? Has that been a long time that you've been doing
It's
that?
been my entire life.
Really?
My great grandmother, I spent a great deal of time with her, and they call it what you want. Some people get hung up and don't like the word witchcraft. She was a Southern granny woman. She was a local healer. And I would go out and forage with her. That's why I learned to identify the herbs and the plants and learn their benefits of this. She used her Bible as a modern day grimoire, if you will. She had things written down when people would come to her for illnesses. She would use chapters, pray over people, use her herbs. She made teas, poultices, tinctures, all of those things. And that's where I learned very early. I've expanded since then, and library work was back before the internet. But just through practice and just education about the herbs themselves. The magic side, spiritualism. I'm not what I would call a religious person. I do work with divine energy, which I believe we all do. And I work with the energy that has been placed and the properties placed within the plants. I take there and use them for what I believe to be their intended purposes. And that's to heal the body, mind, and spirit. So all I'm doing, I'm just a conduit and mixing them all together. I put them in formats of teas, tinctures, salves, and it goes from there. But it's all for the greater good. I mean, I'm not and hang on, Dana, I'm not a live, love, laugh. So.
Sorry.
Not a toxic positivity person.
Witch, but not quite the same kind as Christina. I'm a solitary. It's a long story. So there's more than one witch in the bunch, but she's the master mixer creator lady.
The teacher.
Something.
She's the teacher
Yeah.
too. For me.
So interesting, because I think we've all had our own journeys to find which path is right for us. I did take training as a psychic, and I did at the end of the training give an incredible reading to the point that the woman I read for was in tears of happiness. And I was very happy that I was able to do that for her, but that's just not me. It's not where I feel I need to be.
It's weird how you just kind of know.
Yes.
Certain things are for me and certain things I just cannot.
Exactly.
That's who I am.
Yes. And we'll be on an investigation and I'll come out with some things and Scott will just look at me and say, but I don't understand. Where did you get that from? And I said, well, I don't know. I just do. And he said, but why can't I get that? And I said, well, why can't I sit and talk to somebody's great uncle? It's just.
It's true. We all get it so differently, and what we have available to us, but it makes a nice team, because she and I will go somewhere and she'd be like, wait a minute, steer clear of that place, because there's something in there that's not great. And I haven't felt it yet. I might feel it if I get up there, but she's feeling it before we even get in the door.
And that's it. I feel as though my job when we're on an investigation, especially as an empath, is to keep everyone safe and let them know this is a safe place. It's safe to open up. It's safe to ask questions, or this is not a safe place for us or anyone, including the people that work or live here or whatever, and something needs to be done about it.
Yeah. But it sounds like you three were kind of like it was like a course where you had to kind of come together,
And we're kind of, there's an idea that I can't talk about yet that we've been kind of talking about. And I think Kathy, it's a really cool thing that we're going to try doing this year that involves something someone can do involving all three of us, and no, nothing bad like people will think. Like something holistic, everyone. Healing and not that kind. Yes. Have to clarify these days.
You do.
Exactly. Yeah. Clothes will remain on. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yes. But
you ladies are one step ahead of Scott, I'm telling you.
So I'm kind of excited to see how that works, because it would be using I'll use what I have. Kathy will do her thing, and Christina will be there like, what can we use, and to help with the other part of Kathy's stuff. It's pretty interesting, but I'm not going to say anymore. So I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that one.
That's all right. That's all right. Greta, and that's how we met, was through Greta, because Greta is, she should start her own matchmaking service or something.
She should.
She does that. She puts people together. Maybe that's her thing. I don't know. But we all kind of do events with her, and she's been telling me for months, you've got to get the sisters on your show. You've got to get them on your show. And I'm like, okay, well, introduce me. Let's go. Let's get this going. So, and she finally did. So you told me, Dana, that I don't know if the three of you are going, or is it just you, Dana, to the, what's the one that's coming up in March, the Pause event?
Oh, I'm doing, this is in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
It's called Potographs for Pooches. And a fellow Wisconsinite and friend of mine, Tim Miley, is the head dude there. He's raised over $100,000 so far with his organization, and all goes to like shelter pets.
John Zappis was on the show last week, and he's also going there. He was talking about it.
He will be at the one I'm going to.
He said it's a cause very dear to his heart.
Yep. That's great. And they do a good job. So yeah, that one's coming up soon. I do events separate from the sisters, so I'm kind of doing both right now. Just the way it panned out. But yeah, that one, I've done several events with that one, and it's always fun time. So if you're in Michigan, it's in Ann Arbor.
And that's the 4th? Is it the 4th? Yeah. Now, are you doing a gallery or something like that? Or
I am doing a gallery. There are, I believe, 5 psychics total, who you can get a gallery. You can do galleries with everybody. I think the gallery tickets are only $25 a piece. That's a really good deal.
That is a good
deal.
That
is.
Yeah.
So I think John Zappis, Dustin Perry will be there. The guys from Michigan Paracon will be there. Brad Blair and Tim Ellis. They're really fun guys. So there's quite a few people at this one. It'll be a good time. And my friend Deb DeRose, who's also a psychic medium.
Nice. Were you 3 in Michigan this year?
Yes.
Last year?
I was in Michigan. Kathy was. Kathy was working. I was schmoozing. No, I was watching her out getting autographs or something. I don't know what I was doing.
We were there, but we didn't.
3 days. It was a fun 3 days of schmoozing around. Yes.
It was a good time. It was a good time.
Michigan Paracon is a great convention. I love going there. I'll be there again this coming year or this year. I go as Serenity Reiki by Kathy. So that's what my name will be while I'm there.
You have a vending table? Is that what you do? You have a table? Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've done this. It'll be either my 3rd or 4th year going to the Michigan Paracon doing this. So I love the group of people out there. The people that are coming to visit and everything are wonderful people, great people to work on. So, and I do a couple of other events, local events, the smaller ones in the area. Most of my work is done by going to cons. I do, some work at home on a private basis, but not as much as I would like. But I do enjoy going to the cons because I meet so many different people.
Wow, that's great. Do you do the Reiki right there at the event? Is that what you're saying? You do it, or you book appointments after? Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I do it's only 20-minute sessions. It's actually 30 total because I like to talk to everybody first. But yeah, it's a 20-minute session, and I put my all into it. So when they get off the table, they're feeling pretty good. As a matter of fact, Dana did not get on my table, but I did help her. Remember that?
She totally helped me. I was having a really bad problem with my foot last year. I had a scooter and everything. It felt like my foot was broken, but I think they said sciatica, and then they said plantar fasciitis. I don't know what was happening, but I couldn't walk. It was awful. She's leaving the building. She stops to feel sorry for me, pretty much, and she took the tips of my toe, which were in a boot, and she just grabbed them, and I went, huh. And then she bent them for I don't know, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And then she left. And I kid you not, I was walking without a boot the next day.
Wow.
That is a true story. And I'm skeptic. I'm not of her, but I'm pretty skeptical of certain things, I was shocked. Everybody was shocked.
And it was interesting too, because that was one of those times when I'm called and told what to do. And it's the intuition, you just know, okay, all right, I got to grab Dana's toes now. I don't know why, but now I got to bend them this way and I got to bend them that way. Okay, I did
I'm going,
see you later, Dana.
I'll tell you.
That comes from a higher
we
source.
got to get this woman on the hoof, fix her foot already. Jeez.
Oh my God.
I mean, she's rolling around here like a crazy lady on this thing. I was so upset on that scooter thing. I was whipping through that casino. I'm telling you, I was going fast. It was bad.
So you were the one. I think
You
I saw
probably
you a few times. Yes.
Did you get run
I was
over?
sitting in the corner on the giant slot machine that
I
just
probably
kept
looked
winning
really
and winning.
angry.
And this woman kept zipping by on this little scooter thing. And I
Okay,
had
that's
three people
hilarious. That
behind
was me.
wanting the machine. And I'm like, this baby is giving me my money back. I'm paying for, and nobody's getting on this machine. Confessions. I confess. Yes, that was me.
I am very
Oh, my.
sorry that you had to witness that because I was.
It was fun. I
cranky.
enjoyed it.
Okay.
Oh,
my
gosh.
My face is red, but I have makeup and stuff on, so you can't see it.
Good times.
But
Well,
yeah, that's Kathy's event, the Ohio, the Parapsychon is awesome. That's another really good one if you get an opportunity.
I
to go.
got my ticket. I didn't get it for the ghost hunt yet, but I will be getting that if it's still any tickets available. But I just want to go. You know what I mean? I came to the game late. I was supposed to be in St. Augustine, and that got canceled. And so I have to go to Ohio.
So you're going to be at the event this year?
Yeah,
Parapsychon,
just attending. Yeah.
Come by and say hi and hang out.
Well, yeah.
You can come into my cell. I have
What's
my own
that?
cell.
Say it again. I missed it.
I get to read in one of the cells.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
It was. I did it last year. It was awesome.
We locked her in the cell when we got there, and I don't
That's
think
the
she
true
came out
part of
until we packed up.
They had to put me in there, but it worked out well. It's really cool.
The Soulstice Sisters will have a table there. I'll just be missing from the sisters because I'll be working the event.
Yeah.
But yeah, there'll be a table there, and it's right down in the cell block. And Dana's tucked away. She has it really cool set up, and Christina's out front with all of her wonderful salves and lotions and tinctures and teas and everything. So yeah, if you're coming out to the Parapsychon, you got to stop by the table and visit the Soulstice Sisters.
And that's next fall, right? Would you know the date for that offhand?
It is.
It's coming up.
It's coming up in
Oh,
May.
no, it's May. It's May. What am I talking about? Yeah. It's May.
It's always the third weekend in May. Always the third weekend in May. Now on Friday, Friday is a VIP meet and greet, but you have to buy tickets for that.
Yeah.
But Saturday and Sunday, that's the vendor event. That's where the celebrities will be. That's where vendor setup will be. Our event itself is free. The only thing is you do need to pay admission into the Ohio State Reformatory to get to our event. But what you get with that $25 is, and there's discounts too if you're like a senior and things like that, but you pay the admission, you get to tour the whole building of the OSR, I call it OSR, Ohio State Reformatory.
Mm-hmm.
They have 3 different museums set up in there too. So you get to visit all of the museums while you're there. You get to see the administration building. You get to see some of the props from like Shawshank Redemption and things like that. You'll get to go into solitary confinement. There's a lot to do.
That was cool.
In addition to the Parapsychon event itself, there will be roughly 90 vendors there, and we're going to have food trucks. So bring your blankets for a picnic out front by the pond, and
Yeah, it's gonna be
we'll have
cool.
a blast.
How big is that building? It's massive, isn't it?
250,000 square feet, a little bit over. Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
incredible.
little.
Yeah, it's small.
It's small.
It's really active though.
Very.
It is. I
Yeah.
bet
I
it is.
actually saw an apparition there a couple weeks ago. So
Did
that
you?
was
Really?
awesome. Yeah.
You haven't told us. We got to
Yep.
hear all about that one. So
Yeah, it just happened. Now, Dana had said I'm the goddess of OSR. I'm not the goddess of OSR. I'm the paranormal program manager for Ohio State Reformatory. My husband is actually the paranormal lead investigator for the private ghost hunts there. I'm his boss.
Meaning the goddess. I have my point made now.
Yeah, and in addition to that, I do own a soap business, which is Kathy's Bath Craze, and then my modalities and everything. So just a little bit about me. But
Great. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I'd love to hear about the
Great.
apparition that you
Oh,
saw a
okay.
couple of weeks ago.
It was funny. I won't say all the obscenities I did, though, when it happened.
Gotcha. Yeah. I grew up in East Boston, so I can kind of guess what. I will just hear it in my mind. I trust you.
For me, okay?
Yes.
But we had a private ghost hunt, and I was actually helping my husband that night, and he was giving the tour in the third floor administration. So he was giving a tour. My phone rang. I had to take the call, okay? So I rounded the corner. You have to go through a hallway and round the corner. It's kind of by the chair room. You know where the chair room, the infamous chair room, Dana. So just before you get to the chair room and everything, there's a window there. So I stood staring out the window and I'm talking on my phone. And I did this. And right here, I mean, standing like he was standing there with me, standing there was this figure. I could tell it was like a man about 6 foot tall, but misty gray, tannish, kind of fuzzy, just not 100% solid, but solid enough I could tell it was a person. And when I did this, I went F and B and D and every other letter of the alphabet. And as I'm saying all these foul words, this thing turns in this direction. And as he's turning, he's going down and walking. And he goes all the way to where the hallway part was. And he got to be about the size of a softball.
Wow.
It was fuzzy. It was a fuzzy softball. And it started to do like this on the floor. And of course, then I go, oh, somebody's messing with me. Somebody threw a ball down the hall or something, So I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it. So it starts going down the hallway and it's not going straight. It's kind of like this. And it gets to just before the chair room. And I flip on my flashlight and the thing disappeared.
Wow.
And I went back to the group hyperventilating.
Yeah,
I want to go right now.
Right?
It was awesome. It was awesome.
I love going there. That's one of my favorite. And the more I go, the more I like it, which is not the normal for me. I usually, when you've been to a place 5 or 6 times, you're like, bleh. Do I want to go again? Nah. Yeah, I want to go there.
The place is so big. How can you get bored? You know what I mean? You can see something different every time.
But it's also changing. It's never the same.
No.
I've never had the same experience there twice, ever.
Exactly. That is so true, Dana. And that's what we tell people all the time. Because some people come and they're like, oh, yeah, I was here 10 years ago. And I remember all the activity was here. We're like, it changes all the time.
Well, you just did
this area.
Remodeling and updating, and there's stuff going on all the time. That keeps that fire burning.
Right.
And people bringing in different energies from other places.
That too.
Yes. Yeah.
And the prison right behind it.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a good place for me.
I remember being there about 20 years ago and being up on the top, like looking right out over that. It was a whole different ball game back then. It's a lot nicer now than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, first time I investigated there was 2004. So that was probably about the same time.
And it was, you could like cut the air with a knife. It was all dust and particle.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was.
The cell blocks with the cell blocks were not like, you had to like hug the actual cell to stay away from the rail. Do you remember that, Kathy?
I do. I remember
it was scary.
Paint chips falling from the walls and all of administration.
Mhm.
Administration was not finished at all. I mean, the paint, ceiling, everything was falling. Now, when you see it, you're going to be amazed. It's gorgeous. It's taken back to its time, and it's beautiful.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's one of the things that, paranormal investigating has done, is that we all come from different walks of life, but there's one thing that I find that we all have in common, and it's the love of history, the preservation of historical buildings. And I think it's great that in the last 10, 15 years, society has said, wait a minute, if nothing else, the acrimony to it is we can make money off of this and get our building put back into shape. And I think that's one
thing. Can all thank Stephen King for the Shawshank Redemption, which is what I believe saved.
He did.
OSR.
Yeah.
Stephen King did.
Yeah, sure
how
did.
cool is that? You could tell that as one of the scary things about the place.
Now, what you had mentioned about historical and giving back to the locations to make them better and everything. I'm going to step back to the Parapsychon a little bit. Parapsychon, my husband and I actually put this on through Black Shamrock events. That's our event company, and it's only for Parapsychon. But our team, Tri-C Ghost Hunters, actually runs the event. Like, they do all of the work along with us. All of the money that is raised after expenses gets donated into the Ohio State Reformatory. So we make absolutely no money off of this. Our team makes no money. All of it goes back for the restoration of the building.
That's fantastic.
It is.
Absolutely.
It's cool.
Yes.
That is. And a building like that, of that size, I mean, that's ongoing. It's never going to end. It's not like there'll always be upkeep and that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the really nice things about it too is they just put in elevators. So it's now handicap accessible, and they're actually working the elevator from the ground floor. By next year, it should be set where it'll go all the way up to the chapel. Isn't that exciting?
That's fantastic. It really is.
Yeah, that's great.
Wow.
I'm personally excited about that.
Yeah.
I bet. Yes.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I know another building that has an elevator that doesn't work. And rumor has it that you ladies are going to be there. We said we were going to make an announcement. I told everyone we were going to make an announcement.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it, I guess. We should make the announcement here tonight. Who
Let's
wants
do
to do it?
Drum
Dana,
roll.
I'm excited.
I think Scott Allen should do it, since this is,
Wait, I'm backwards. Yes, Scott.
or Christina.
Yeah, Scott. You tell everybody.
Well, the four of us, me and the Soulstice Sisters, are going to be doing an event together at the Haunted Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne, Indiana, the last weekend of April. So I think the dates are, I think it's the Friday, whatever the Friday and Saturday is, that Friday and Saturday. I think Friday is going to be a meet and greet and a flashlight tour of the mansion. But on Saturday, they're going to have a metaphysical affair there with all vendors and that kind of thing. And Dana and I are doing a gallery reading at the mansion. I don't know what time, but it'll be in the afternoon. And I think Christina's going to do table tipping, and we're all going to, Kathy's going to do her thing, and I think we'll be doing private readings or whatever we do during the day as well. And then there'll be an investigation from 7 to 1 that night.
It's going to be really cool. I'm really excited.
You've never been there.
Can you?
No, I have
imagine?
not been there.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. And there's going to be, my understanding, we've got a Victorian touch to this event.
Yeah.
Yes. She
Which I
wants
do
to
love.
dress up. You know what that means? She wants to dress up in Victorian clothes. I can guarantee you.
It's
That's,
like the old,
that's what's happening here. That's why I
the
have
old
her costume.
spiritualists.
It's her fault. I'm done now. I'll be quiet.
It's like the old spiritualists where they would, messages from spirit and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
with the table tipping and all of that. That'll be fun. And I've never done that before, so I can't wait to see that.
I've done it twice, but I'm not an expert, nor would I claim to be an expert in any of this. But I've
Not
not
an
only done
expert,
it a
but
couple
it's fun.
times.
I've actually been involved in them. I've never conducted them, but I've been involved with them. And it seems like whenever the ones that I've been involved in have been pretty active. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be great. I also think with all of our energy and all of us being there, I just can't imagine what it's going to be like. I am very, very excited about this.
You know, this building used to be a funeral home. Now, I think Greta probably told you that I was a funeral director for many, many years.
Yes, I need to talk to you about that
Oh
someday.
my God. I mean, it was like almost, 35, 40 years. And when I got in there, when I was there back in November, I walked into what used to be the viewing room, the chapel, and I could, the energy was, you could just feel it. It was buzzing. It was crazy. And yet I don't know that the place is super duper haunted, but it's definitely haunted. We've picked up voices, and I smelled cigar smoke and different things throughout the building. So it's there. I mean, when you're doing an investigation with 50 people, you're not going to find that much.
Yeah.
But when we were there alone, and we were there and it was quiet, it was buzzing. You could just feel it. It was incredible.
Do they have stories of like more residual type stuff going on, or is it, because so many people were gathered there and probably very emotional, and is it that, or is it like people like cruising around going, "Hey, how are you?"
I don't know.
It is that way.
Some of it is intelligent, and I'll tell you why. Because I was walking with one of the guys who's on their crew, and I said to him, this room is buzzing. I got stuff upstairs, but what is it downstairs? I don't feel anything. Like downstairs where they had like the smoking rooms and stuff, it's like nothing. I just didn't feel anything. He says, no, we don't have any activity down there at all. And as soon as he said it, the light went out in the hallway heading to that part of the room. And I said, what, did you see that? He says, yeah. And he went, and he had to flip it back up to turn it on. So clearly something flipped it off.
Oh, wow.
So
saying,
that was interesting. Yeah, we're here.
We're hiding in here, and you need to leave.
Yeah.
On the third floor. The
Time's
third floor
done.
was crazy. The third
It's their
floor
green room. Leave them alone in there. Yeah.
The green room. I like that.
They have a room too. They use it as a yoga studio, actually, but it's right above the viewing room. It's massive, and there were kids running around in there, like spirits of kids running around in there, in the room. And again, there were people in there. I didn't get a lot, but I felt that. And when Satori and Cody were there, they did the thing that they do, and they were picking up the kids coming through and communicating with them. So it was interesting. There's definitely a lot of stuff that you're just going to love. It's a 15,000 square foot mansion, and it's just gorgeous, absolutely breathtakingly beautiful.
I am so excited about this. It's going to be so much fun.
I've heard a lot of good things about the place and the people that run the place. So
I have too.
I'm happy to work with nice
It's
people.
all true. Yeah. It's all true. They were just so nice that it was great. So anybody that's looking to find out about that event can go to The Bell Mansion. That's spelled with 2 L's, thebellmansion.com. And I don't think tickets are up yet. I think they were still working on the finals of times and everything, but that'll be coming up pretty soon. And I can't wait.
I'm excited.
It's exciting to finally meet. Well, I guess we'll actually get to, well, no, never mind. I've got my calendars backwards. April's before May.
All I'm thinking about is where the heck am I going to find a Victorian period dress to make Christina happy in a short amount of time?
I'm sorry, guys. I like costumes.
I will try.
I do too. I like dressing up like that. So but I agree with Dana. It's just so hard to find that stuff, but it's fun to get dressed up like that. And we do have a good time when we're getting ready.
The high neck white shirt, cinch it at the waist, a long dark
fake
skirt.
hair thing because they have no hair.
Yes. Yes.
I can hook you up, Kathy. I can hook you up.
I think I'm going to be like the maid or something. I don't think.
We'll have to get
I'm
a
just
follow
thinking of what
costume.
we see at the Pierce Mansion in Gardner. And that's where I, after 15 years, saw my first full body apparition. And that's basically what she was wearing. So that's kind of what, I call it the shirt waist. And it was buttoned up to here. The hair was back, cinched at the waist. And then
I'm all about a corset. So tie me in, man.
Spanx. Modern day Spanx.
Yeah.
They were even harder than Spanx, I think. They had a lot of broken ribs going on back then. So
Probably. So, ladies, we have like 2.5 minutes. I can't even believe it. It's like it always flies by. How can they find out about you? What is your website? Is it the Soulstice Sisters or just Soulstice Sisters? Or
It is the soulsticesisters.com. And there's a little bit about us on there, how to get in touch with us. If anybody wants to talk to us together, individually, I kind of help forward people. They'll reach out, and those looking for readings, I send to Kathy. Those looking for energetic healing, I go to Kathy. Well, Dana does the readings. I'm sorry, guys. I'm in Vegas. Okay, cut me some slack. I'm on a different time zone and everything.
She's still sober. Leave her alone.
No, I'm not staying in my lane, Dana.
I know all about those lanes, Kathy. You watch it.
Stay in your lane. Yeah. Well, we're on Facebook and Instagram too.
Yes.
We're real easy to find. It's Soulstice, SOULSTICE. No, I'm not drinking it, I promise. That's for later.
I love you.
And can they get a hold of each of you individually? Like you have your own information on there too, like if they wanted to have a reading.
So,
We do.
For instance,
We do.
If somebody wants a reading, she sends it to Kathy.
Clearly.
They don't get a very good
Somebody
one.
wants Reiki, I send them to Dana.
Type questions, it comes to me.
Just send them all to me, ladies. I'll take care of it.
Kidding. I get the psychic. I'm just.
Then they'll really be lost. Talk about lame.
Yeah.
It'll be like the big.
It'll
big
all be
beer.
lined up, and I think like it has our bios on there, and so you'll know who is who and what we do. So it's not like blindly.
Well, and people do message through, the social media platforms, and whoever they need, that's who I direct them to.
Yeah, and I went to our website, and it does show each one of us, and then there's a link under each one of our names. Tell us about what we do, and a link there. But let Christina go ahead and send anybody that needs a reading my way. I'm good with that.
While you're rubbing their toes, you can tell them all.
Excuse me, it was a pulling of the toes. So there was no rubbing.
Need to get that straight, Scott.
Let me tell you,
Story.
anybody who's touching my toes ought to wear a mouth guard because that's not going to be a good situation.
I don't think she used her mouth, Scott. I think
I'd be kicking and tickling and giggling and everything.
Way to wrap up the show, Scott. That was brilliant.
All the time.
I just remember
Listen,
I just remember the look on my husband's face when I was doing that. I looked at him. He's like, "What are you doing?"
Stick around after the show, ladies. I'm going to tell you all of Julie's bloopers. In the meantime, next week we're talking with Joe Chin.
You'll enjoy the bloopers. Stick around.
That's it. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
You have been listening to The Paranormal Project with Scott Allen and Julie Finn. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. While you're there, leave us a rating and review so others can find out about the show. Stay haunted and go out there and explore the paranormal.